You know him as a Nobel laureate, you know him as a world famous economist, but there's another side to him that you may not know about. He's a gourmet cook, and he's also now the author of a cookbook, or should I say a book about food and its intimate connections with all aspects of our life. We're joined by Obhijit Banerjee today. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us and cooking for us, with us. Tell us a little more about the book, Cooking to Save Your Life. That's an intriguing title. Why save your life?
Yeah, so I feel like in retrospect, maybe that was not the right title, because everybody thinks it should be about, healthy eating or other, perfectly laudable goals, but it's not. It's not about unhealthy eating. Most of the food is healthy. But the idea was more, it came out of this, American commonly used expression, I can't cook to save my life.
Right.
And I guess, and my...
That would be true for me on most occasions.
The premise of this book is anybody and you can cook to save their lives, or to even to entertain guests and have, compelling whatever you are trying to achieve through the meal, which is often many different kinds of private and public goals are achieved through meals, and you are able to achieve those. Don't panic. Cooking is much easier than most things you do. I think cookbooks are helpful, especially if they are grounded in the reality of your life. So we try to write a cookbook that was maybe less abstract than most cookbooks.
Being an economist influences your style of cooking, or your sensibilities of cooking. So tell us a little more about that.
It's not that I do it, I'm so programmed to be an economist that I don't, it's not that I start as an economist and I say, how would an economist think about it? I think about it, and then often turns out that there is somewhere inside that narrative is my being an economist. And for example, I often think of, the whole concept of the book, in a sense, comes from the idea that, you're working with scarce resources. That cooking, unlike in the TV kitchen, is a very real thing. You are working with time constraints, attention constraints. Your children have their lives and they're often in your way. Yeah. Your space constraints, you have ingredients constraints, and all of those, and sort of the idea of finding the constrained optimal is like the fundamental first idea of economics. And so in some ways that's always in my mind, and right. The writing of the book reflects very much that. These stories are about, you are in some awkward place and you have to get out of it.
Time crunch, yeah. or some other awkward place. Yeah. Well, I think the most interesting and endearing part of it actually is that you have a situation for every recipe, and you describe that situation and the people you could be cooking for. So for instance, there's a recipe about moong dal with carrots, which you say is for your kid brother who always fought for his right to not eat vegetarian food, shows up with a vegan girlfriend. Are these situations actually drawn from real life?
Some yes, some no.
All right, to get back to all the lovely food fresh ingredients that we're seeing on the table, we have some onions here, some tomatoes, some green chilies, and some Brussels sprouts. So presumably this is not just an Indian meal that the two of you are cooking. So tell us what this is going to turn into.
So it's going to be a South Indian style Brussels sprouts. So right now I'm going to put them in the oven for 20 minutes till they get very crisp on the outside but quite soft on the inside. And then I'm going to cook them with the tomato, softened onions, and the chili, turmeric powder, and
so you're co-chef and not just illustrator of the book. So shall we then head into the kitchen with this stuff and see both of you in action? So it's just the Brussels sprouts that go into the oven for now. And what are you going to be cooking?
I'm going to be cooking a thin dal with very Bengali style with lime leaves in it, and then I'm going to make a black sesame pork, which is what I'm cutting the onions for.
So this is a very interesting mix of dishes from various places, and what brings it all together? You have a northeastern style pork, I imagine?
Yeah, so northeastern style. So it seems to me that what gives harmony to a meal is sort of a balance of weights, of sharpness, of flavors.
Right.
So the dal is very carefully chosen to be very light, because the pork is going to be ultra rich, and then the Brussels sprouts give you a little bit of bitter to give another flavor. This
Right.
is sort of very Indian idea of a meal, which is
Yeah.
that there should be something slightly bitter in it.
Right.
So that's
it's also a very Bengali thing.
a very Bengali thing, but using none of the techniques. I mean, other than the dal, everything else is from all over.
Yeah. So dal particularly seems to be a big favorite. You spend a lot of time talking about it in the book. Rice and dal, both in a sense sort of, the staples, but so much more.
Yeah, so that's my comfort food. I would say dal is my comfort food. Not necessarily with rice, with roti or bhakri or many different kinds of breads. But I think dal is where I eventually, if you had to send me to a desert island with one thing I could eat, I would take dal with.
So that's a moong dal.
Moong dal, very thin, lots of water, and then I'm going to put a chalk now. It's hot, so I'm going to just put a chalk of saunf and some lime juice to finish it. It's extremely simple, this dish. So I put 1 tablespoon of ghee, a little bit less actually,
Right.
and I'm going to just do that,
Yeah.
and that's all that's going to flavor this dal.
So the saunf doesn't even brown then. It's
Not
sort of,
too
yeah.
much. I guess a meal is not 17 flavors that are fighting for your attention. It's a balance between the very gentle. This is going to be very gentle. The Brussels sprouts is going to be a little bit bitter, and then the pork is going to be fatty and rich. And that overall harmony
Yeah.
is sort of part of the design.
Right. I wish we had more time to sort of watch you cook the pork as well, but unfortunately we don't. It's been great fun looking at the dal being made and come together so beautifully. Oh, that's lovely. May I? I don't,
Yes, please.
don't want to.
I will spill it on your clothes for sure.
Oh, that's really lovely. It's, as you said, very subtle, but you can taste the ghee and the saunf, and just that real small hint of sort of orangey, limey, or tangy, citrusy freshness. So it's absolutely delicious. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This
Thank
has
you for doing
been
this. That was
delicious
great.
and entertaining and enlightening as well.
And great fun as well. Thank you.